Hey guys, welcome to a Geek Talk. It's a little bit different today. We're going to be doing something called Hello to the Bad Guy.
Say hello to the bad guy.
Say hello to the bad guy. Sorry, he came with the title.
Completely
So,
giving homage to Scarface.
Oh yes. Oh, good job. Good job.
It's the last time you will see a bad guy like me. The whole premise is I believe that the so-called villain is often the hero of the story told a different way.
And I believe the villain's a villain for a reason. And sometimes you should let sleeping dogs lie.
There you go. And that's how it's going to go down. For you guys who don't know, tell these people who you are.
What up, world? I'm Vaughn, a.k.a. VonnieD2 on all social medias.
And I am Miles, a.k.a. MTV. My social medias are all poolside chats. Twitter, Instagram, everything.
Except for the real blah.
Well, my personal Instagram is I am the Black Brad Pitt.
So there we
So
go.
if you looking to slide in the DMs, I am the Black Brad Pitt. If you want to get at me for business purposes, poolside chats.
So there we go. So our first case for today is Erik Killmonger from Black Panther. Is he a villain?
Objection. Killmonger is his slave name.
Hey, hey. How you? I need
You need a gavel. We definitely need a gavel.
I need it. And like, hey.
Order in the court.
Yeah. But we'll have we'll have him go first because he's doing the defense. We'll have him have.
Well, prosecutor goes first.
Prosecution usually starts.
Don't ask me why I know so much about.
Yeah,
the
I don't know.
system.
You should be done that much. Sorry. You will have your opening argument. You will have your opening. And then you will counter his opening, and then you will counter as well. And then that's it. And that's all y'all get. And then we're going to leave it up to you guys out there in the YouTube lands on who wins.
We should do a poll.
It's going to be a poll.
I'm down with the poll.
YouTube has a poll in the top right corner.
Do you give your final thoughts at the end?
Yes, actually, I'm going to be the mediator, so I am going to bring up certain points that I want you guys to elaborate on at the end. Nope. If it's something I'm like, I'm kind of hazy on that.
Gotcha.
I need that, So here we go.
Fantastic.
Vaughn, I'm going to give you 2 minutes.
2 minutes is more than enough time.
All right,
Thank you.
There we go.
Before we start, spoilers for the film Black Panther.
Good job. Spoilers.
Before we start,
Black Panther.
Spoilers.
Good save.
Yes.
Good as
now.
That is the last kudos you're going to get today, by the way. Yes. So, do I start?
Oh, yes. I'm already counting you.
Okay, great. I don't need that much time. Erik Killmonger is absolutely a villain because, for sure, he has killed incessantly. All he knows is violence. All he knows is war. All he knows is destruction. And in everything that we see him do, he's in pursuit of those things. Those are very easily, just to open it up, those are villainous acts to want to destroy and to want to take away and remove. That is in no way heroic or even neutral. What? And I'm gonna leave it there for right now.
Okay, so that was your opening statement.
Absolutely.
Miles, you now have the floor for your opening statement.
In response to Vonnie D.
Are we doing responses already?
Well, no response yet. This is your opening statement.
Okay, so I'm not going to respond
Not
to
yet,
all
not
that.
yet. You will get that.
All that bullshit. Caca. All right.
This is the part where the judge would go like that.
Order in my court.
All right, so my opening case for Eric Stevens, I will not call him Killmonger because he was branded Killmonger by the CIA, is that he is of royal bloodline. He was ripped away from his family. His father was murdered. His father died in his arms. He was raised in the mean streets of Oakland. He made it out of that. He got to MIT. He got himself a degree. He graduated MIT at 19. Went on to become a Navy SEAL, a decorated Navy SEAL. Went on to work for the CIA. All of the killing that he did was sanctioned and for his country and was all at the orders of someone else. It's not like he's just a serial killer, a mass murderer. When he returned to Wakanda, he was well within his rights to challenge for the throne. And he did challenge for the throne, and he won the throne, rightfully. And what is Eric's biggest drawback? That he wants to help his homies, that he wants to help the world, that he wants to stop seeing his people defeated? If that's a villain, they call me the bad guy.
Erik Killmonger did not kill only because it was sanctioned by the U.S. government. In the movie, Erik Killmonger kills what is presumably his girlfriend, or like at least a woman he's interested in.
Objection,
when
she wasn't of Wakandan blood.
When she's held captive by a one-armed man, mind you, and he is supposed to be this trained operative, he has the opportunity to save her, which is something that at least, I won't say a hero, at least a non-villain would do. is save the person that you're interested in, you're involved with, your girlfriend, your love, whatever. He doesn't do that. He first kills her. He kills this girl who's innocent. Now I could see in the U.S. government, she's running with him. So you tell me.
She definitely isn't innocent.
But he kills this girl for no reason. There's absolutely no reason to kill her when she's being held captive by a one-armed man. That is my main thing on why he can't be considered not a villain. I think that was that moment is what pushed him past the threshold. The whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, oh, this is Erik Killmonger is undoubtedly a compelling character. I think he represents a lot of the African American experience and that that inner war of identity and where you belong. And absolutely, he overcame a lot. That doesn't necessarily mean he's he's a victim of circumstance to a degree, but he is primarily a villain because of how he responds to his circumstances. Killing as much as he did, because we see how many markings he had, how many times he marked himself on his body. So these are a lot of people that we have to, according to the defendant, we have to presume are justified killings. But the one mark he never got was the girl who was innocent because he knew he couldn't go into Wakanda with her.
All right, Vaughn, stop you there. Miles, what did you count?
Allow me to sip my heart-shaped herb real fast. Hold on a second. I just had to get the Panther God in me. All right. So to respond to what Vonnie D is talking about, let's go back to the opening argument. He was talking about how being a murderer makes you a villain. If being a murderer makes you a villain, then wouldn't this film's villain be T'Chaka? Because he was the first murderer. He was Cain. Let's also talk about all he knows. Why is that all he knows? Why does he not know the love of a father? Why does he not know how to be raised by a very loving father that instilled all these Wakandan traditions in him? What happened? Oh, again, T'Chaka ripped his father away from him. That's why this is all he knows. Oh, he was Vaughn also mentioned that he was in pursuit of murder, in pursuit of killing. No, he was in pursuit of his birthright. Being of royal blood, he had the right to challenge for the throne. And that's all he ever wanted. Also, killing his girlfriend. In order to get Osama bin Laden, you had to take a quote unquote innocent life. In order to kill Osama bin Laden, would you do it? Ulysses Claw was Wakanda's Osama bin Laden. He committed the grandest act of terror ever in Wakandan history. The only act of terror in Wakandan history, right?
I believe that's true, yeah.
So, Eric Stevens brought to justice a war criminal that T'Chaka and T'Challa both failed to bring to justice. Let's remember that. And he's a victim of circumstance? No, he was a victim of his uncle.
Vaughn, I'm going to allow you to follow up on that one.
He was a victim of fratricide, definitely. But at the end of the day, let me gather my thoughts.
Doom, 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 doom.
At the end of the day, no, you bring up a lot of good points, but where does the responsibility come in? We can't just rest all of his actions on the U.S. government told him to do it. I'm good.
You good?
I'm good. I'm going to do this because it's ritual combat. I'm going to do it without the Panther God's power.
I like that right there.
But we can't just, all of his actions can't be said, oh, well, the government told him to do it. That's not just a justifiable reason to continue to do that stuff. And it's not like he doesn't know what Wakanda's about and he doesn't have good values and morals instilled in him. He had enough time to have those memories with his father. Yes, his father was ripped away from him. Yes, he had had all those experiences. But you mean to tell me within growing up in Oakland and then going to MIT and being well traveled around the world and going everywhere he went with the U.S. government, he never had, all he ever knew was just to kill, and all he ever knew was to take away and destroy. He never had an opportunity to see a different light. He never had an opportunity to choose something else, ever.
I think I'm going to hold it there. We're going to bring up the case of the ritual combat. A lot of you guys brought that up. I want to hear more about the ritual combat, specifically between Eric Stevens, and T'Challa. Let's have Miles open up for that.
The ritual combat that we speak of, obviously I'm hoping that you've seen the movie Black Panther. If there were certain times in which someone is allowed to challenge for the throne of Wakanda, if you are of royal bloodline, you have that right. And the only way you can lose this battle is either by death or by, is it concession? Yield. So I'm sorry. Thank you. That's the last kudos you'll get from me. By yield.
All right.
In this battle, T'Challa is completely outmanned. And the reason why is because, as Von stated before, all Eric's ever done his whole life is fight. That's all he's known, because he's had to fight for everything. Nothing was given to him, while T'Challa was up in the palace, living real good, real coming to America, chicks throwing rose petals at his feet like the Princess Zamunda.
Which never happens once in the movie, by the way.
I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. He was born with a vibranium spoon in his mouth. Okay? So while T'Challa's sitting up real good, feet up, Versace on the floor, Eric has been having to fight for everything he ever known. That's the reason why Eric was able to overpower T'Challa, win the match before Zuri interfered once, and stopped the killing blow. And then secondly, even with the interference, he still was able to overpower T'Challa, throw him over Warrior Falls. And T'Challa come back 2 or 3 days later after he got some surgeries. He been in a coma. They snuck him up to the mountains, and he needed a blanket. And what level of competition are you able to pause, come back 2-3 days later and say, it's still 30 seconds on the clock. I got the ball.
I think I'm gonna hold you there. Follow up.
To answer your question, if you're playing Quidditch, you play until the snitch gets caught. If that takes 3 days, that takes 3 days. What we're neglecting to acknowledge is that the first yield was T'Challa's. He got Eric on the floor, had the spear at his neck, and begged him to yield. If he was gonna be that cutthroat king, and this is where the difference lies. Because when T'Challa had the opportunity to take the blow, he didn't. He could have ended the fight, killed Killmonger, was like, all right, we're good now. But he didn't because of his compassion, which I would argue is something that a not villain, I won't necessarily say hero, compassion is something that a not villain would have, and that's something we never see out of Erik Killmonger.
I'm okay with you following that.
It is his choice to offer the yield. He offered it to M'Baku. It is his choice to offer the yield. Is it compassionate, or is it maybe he just, it's not in him? I get that. And there's nothing wrong with that, because T'Chaka, who was the film's first murderer, did have a very valid point. He said it's hard for a good man to be king. His own father did not think that a good man could be king. So while you keep on talking about Eric is a bad man, maybe he's more fit for the role, because T'Chaka even felt that way. And let's also think about T'Challa's love interest, who also had the same line of thought that Eric did, where we need to go out and help our people across the world. The first time we're introduced to, why am I slipping the Nakia. When we're first introduced to Nakia's character, that's definitely twice now. Okay. Well played, sir. When we're first introduced to Nakia, she is in undercover as a war dog with what appears to be kidnapped women, or probably going to be sold into like human trafficking, or maybe who knows what's going to happen to these women. And she's seeing this because, again, she's not up at the palace with the vibranium spoon. She's on the front line, and she's seeing the turmoil and the trouble that's going on in the rest of the world. And she herself agrees that we need to help, and we need to rise up, and we have the ability to not only protect our own borders, but also help our people in the rest of the world.
I think I'm gonna do final closing thoughts right now. Antoine, we'll start with you. Why or why not is Erik the villain?
I'm gonna bring up a lot of points that the defendant brought up, which, when we look at and we compare the defendant's subject, Killmonger, when we compare Killmonger to the other characters that he's aligned with, for like the most recent example was Nakia. Nakia did also have compassion. T'Chaka had compassion. When he killed his brother, it was out of instinct. It wasn't necessarily something he wanted to do. He begged his brother, him killing his brother was a result of his brother committing a violent act. He was gonna kill Zuri. So we have to keep in mind the context of everything. And I always have to go back to, and this was the point that stuck out to me the most, was that Erik Killmonger killed when he didn't have to. If he didn't want to bring the girlfriend or whoever she was with him to Wakanda, send her back to London. I'll pick you up later. Send her somewhere else. Like, keep her safe. But he, like, violently took her out when he didn't have to. Like, I can absolutely understand, like, him going through everything he went through leading up to, like, him coming to Wakanda, except the lack of compassion.
First and foremost, Erik did everything by the letter of the law. He never stepped outside the law when it came to challenging for the throne of Wakanda. He won the throne and was overthrown and assassinated. Remember that. And also when we talk about T'Chaka murdering his brother out of necessity or out of response to the violent act that was being committed, if he felt he did the right thing, why did he lie to his people? Why did he cover this up? Why did he look at Zuri and say, never speak of this day? This some Donald Trump type stuff. We gonna write this up under the rug. Like, come on now. If he felt he did the right thing, if he felt he was being an honorable man, why did he sweep this under the rug and leave his nephew to fend for himself?
And that will close the case. That is now going to move to you guys, the jury. In the top right corner here, we have a poll for if you believe that Erik Killmonger is, in fact, a villain or not. What we heard today, we heard arguments about honor, about compassion, about needless violence.
Compassion was a good argument. I'm not gonna lie.
Think of all of that as you're putting in your votes. I know typically on YouTube you don't do that often, but let's take all of these argumentations into play and then right up there make your vote, and then we'll see you in the next week.
Erik Stevens.
I'm sorry, Erik Stevens.
That's not my name, sis.
I did say Killmonger at the end there, so yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now that's not my name. Ask me who I am.
Ask me my name.
Who are you? That's good.
See you guys in the next one. Vaughn, you want to do yourself a shout out?
Yes.
Vonnie D2.
Vonnie D2.
VONNIEDEE.
Wow, he did
Number
it for
2.
you. Nice. Miles?
Poolside chats.
There we go.
Oh, good job.
That's for the professionals. Also, I am the Black Brad Pitt if you want to slide into the DMs.
Man,
Snapchat me that thing.
The double kudos, man. The double kudos.
Nice.
Peace.
Hey, that was. You're right. You're right. Oh, don't judge me. Edit that out. Edit that out.
There you go.